So I'll start with you, Cameron. Just give us your look at the state of the housing market right now. How are things looking? Is it still a seller's market?
I believe it's always a seller's market. As long as there's inventory on the market, I believe people are looking to buy. So I think the market right now is fairly strong for sellers, so I take it for that.
And Cameron, the bulk of your investments is in commercial real estate. You also have exposure to the stock market. I'm curious, which asset class do you prefer?
My asset class is honestly, I prefer the commercial real estate. I dabble in the stocks, but commercial real estate and those assets tend to play a big future for me.
And is that a cash flow play? Is it more of a long-term hold?
Both. I think the cash flow play is huge in any business and organization, but for me, the long-term, the 10 to 15-year plays are always what we're looking for.
You do say you dabble in the stock market. I understand you have some shares of Nike.
Yes.
Are you dabbling in the cannabis industry? I know that there was some interest there on your part.
Yes, not in the cannabis stocks, but we do hold some shares in cannabis companies out west. We have some $10 to $15 million in the market right now. We're looking at some partnerships right now that we're going to take into the future.
Nothing you can go public with here?
Not right now.
All right. Back to real estate. Are you concerned at all that we're now in this environment where interest rates are starting to rise? Do you think that might crimp things in the housing market?
I believe so. I do agree that it will crimp a few things, but other than that, I think people just have to continue to ride the wave, as they always have, and I think that's the outlook, that either young developers or even, experienced developers will have to, take a look at.
And commercial real estate is obviously a pretty traditional asset class, but what about venture capital? Have you dabbled in the startup space at all? Because we seem to be at peak Silicon Valley, many would argue.
Yes, within our venture capital, with our business development firm, Rise Above, we look at heavy into the startup market right now. Our fund is at about $2 billion right now, and we're looking at about 100 investments this year for startup companies, partnering with a number of other financial services as well.
By some estimates, you're worth upwards of $76 million, Cameron. I mean, you went from, would you agree with that estimate?
Keep going.
Okay. You went from the pro athlete world to a very successful business career. A lot of other folks try to do that and are not nearly as successful. What makes you different?
Using the intangibles from football is building a team and relying on your team. So my biggest asset is my team that I'm surrounded by, helping me make great decisions. And those decisions started right when the market had crashed in 2007 and 8. I was a rookie, getting some money from the NFL, and I was able to take that from my managers at Morgan Stanley and say, hey, look at some real estate right now. So we bought some distressed properties, and 10 years later, here we are.
You have anything else for Cameron?
No, I just would say any advice for folks who are looking to do the same, whether they're in sports or whether they're in any industry and want to, create a real estate side hustle.
Oh, side hustle.
A little more than a hustle for you now, but it started out that way.
It's a full-fledged career, but I would just advise to surround yourself with the right people. Take the advice, understand the market, do the homework, and don't be afraid.